Yes. all the Shax quotes.
Yes, Guardian!
Now crush them. Like, chill, bro.
Come on, Guardian. You can do better.
Yep, always. At least he's never angry at us. Like when you finish the
He's
game
just
and you get wiped. Yeah,
disappointed.
no, he doesn't even say that. It's like, I'm not angry, just disappointed. Imagine, that'd be great.
Destiny is something that is very close to us. We've been playing Destiny since Destiny 1.
Here we have.
And
We were out there at launch midnight for Destiny 1.
out in Botany Downs.
Yep.
And we waited there, and that was when, like no other EB games had it, but we were in a line. I took a photo. I saw the photo recently as well.
Oh, did
It was
you?
called Reaching My Destiny.
Great. Love it.
Yeah.
Was it like a year or so? Like, has it been like on the date? Was it like a Facebook anniversary thing for the photo?
Yep, it was one of those
Wow.
Facebooks. Like, 10 years ago today.
10 years. No, was it 10 years? Don't say 10 years.
No, it wasn't. I don't know if it was 10 years ago, but it was quite a long time
Oh,
ago.
okay.
And so the new DLC is coming out, Beyond Light.
Yeah.
You can pre-order it now. Destiny 2 ANZ hit me up.
That trailer was pretty hype, man.
It was a great
No,
trailer.
even before this trailer, the one before where it's
The Stranger?
the stranger and Eris and the Drifter going onto the planet. Like, this is what I brought you to see.
The three most mysterious characters meeting up and being like,
You're like, ooh, shit's going down.
yep, you know what? They're the anti-Vanguard.
They are. But I think the Drifter has a ghost. You just never see it.
He has a ghost. He's trapped his ghost somewhere.
Oh,
So if you listen to some of the storyline and
there's
some
so
of the,
much sometimes.
and some
that
of
you don't hear.
the things he says,
Yep.
he's locked his ghost up because he doesn't trust it.
Ooh.
He actually thinks ghosts are like out there to kill you, and to.
But he already did.
Because he's seen some ghosts actually like make trades with Fallen or something like that to trade you for what they want, which is like to come closer to the light or some shit like that. And so he's like, and that was Golden Age pre Destiny 1.
Have you read some of
storylines.
the newer lore books coming out about the darkness? Either Drifters ones, some of Eris's, and
I haven't had
the
a
actual
chance.
there is a particular one that talks about not Hawthorne, but some other Vanguard unit killing.
Hawthorne's not Vanguard.
Well, some other Vanguard unit killing Guardians who come back from deep space because they've seen something and they've been infected with something. Their ghosts even turn on them during the interrogation. It's wild because like there's like a conversation like in quotation marks and stuff, and they get information from this guy and they kill him, and they turn to his ghost and be like, "You're gonna revive him?" He's like, "Why? It doesn't mean anything to me." Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's
Wow.
heavy stuff. They like turn on them. It's dark. This whole darkness thing is getting really dark.
Real.
Yeah, but it's also stuff that's already happened. We're just only being told about it now. They're like doing sort of like a backwards motion through their own lore book to give us new content. And it's good because when we started Destiny 1, everyone was like, what's the darkness? No one knew. Destiny 1 completed in its entirety and Destiny 2 came out and we're like, what happened to the darkness?
Yeah.
Everyone during the Red War was like, why are we fighting Cabal?
Yeah.
But now we're finally getting it, and it looks good.
And
I'm
that's
keen.
something that we've been discussing over the last 10 weeks. You know, Destiny has been evolving into this game where it's where it's supposed to have been.
Yep.
And it's taken like 5-6 years, but heckin'. Do we like it? We freaking love it.
It's a heckin' good time.
It's a heckin' good time. And you know what? It's gonna be a darn heckin' good time next season for the solstice. I wanna get me that cowboy.
Oh,
that
shoot, a picture of the
ghost.
cowboy ghost. Oh, did you see
Which
that,
I have.
Johannes? The cowboy ghost?
The cowboy ghost.
He's
Yeah,
got
so
a
it's
cowboy
it's
hat.
a ghost.
It's an explorer shell or something. It's
Yeah,
got like
so it's got a little
Indiana
cowboy
Jonesy
hat.
cowboy looking hat.
I tell you what, these ghosts are getting so ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The last one I saw that I just kind of shook my head at was the beach ball.
I've not seen a beach ball. That's
Ghost. I think it was. It came out in the same season as the mini, the mini.
Oh, you didn't see it? There's a mini.
No.
There's a mini sparrow.
What?
That's literally just the head of the sparrow, and it's like like those little toy cars that clowns sit on. It's like that.
Oh wow.
And that was when I stopped playing. It was when I saw about an entire planet full of guardians just riding that. I'm just like, no, I'm done. Like here I am trying my damned hardest to look absolutely badass, and these guys are just taking the mickey. So
Oh, speaking of that, like the Steam names are really getting on my nerves now. Like, what are these characters filling up my screen? All this, I'm like, get rid of it. Come on, it's just annoying. People can be fun and quirky with names. That's all good, but all the stupid, like someone's characters were literally just squares. Like, you know when you don't have a text file. I was like, what? And it was like 10 pieces long. I'm like, why? Why?
Some Chinese guy. It's like, but so I mean that's probably my only gripe with Disney right now is that they were mixed servers with Asia and it's just bad time PvP.
When I random queue for any activity, I'm pretty much getting an entire lobby full of like Chinese or Japanese
and getting
players and getting wrecked.
Yeah.
So I'm just that's why I only play with you guys. So.
Yeah. But yeah, and also the cheating, the hacking, it's all crazy. Like Trials is just dumb. Get your first engram, finish your 2 bounties, and just move on.
Yeah.
Like, good luck trying to get the rest, of course, but
yeah,
some
of it's just too crazy.
Yep.
Okay, so having said that, getting back into the DLC content.
Yes.
As we can see here in some of the images in the slideshow, Warlocks now have a ice wand.
Okay, wizards.
Yeah, you can break frozen like enemies, combatants. You can break frozen enemy combatants. Heck, the enemy frozen fallen are like all like snow geared up. You know, like obviously that everyone's got snow themed gear now.
Yep.
Right. Some of it looks pretty sweet. The Titan one doesn't look like
Titans don't get to look nice. They're just tanky things.
Yep. He's got like a giant backpack on.
Hunters generally look the best because of capes. Capes are cool. And then Warlock second because you got big ass robes.
Yep.
Then you float. But yeah, Titans never look nice.
No, but honestly, I'm pretty excited for this because what this does mean is that by introducing this new mechanic of like freezing your enemies, it is a new mechanic and it is a new way to play and to be able to interact with the enemies in a way where you're not just burning them or you're not just electrocuting them, making them disintegrate.
Yep.
Actually freezing them in place and being able to destroy them, shattering them, be able to create new platforms to jump on.
Oh, Hunters need that so badly.
Yeah, for Hunters to be able to create new platforms so they can jump on.
Extend the jump would
and
be
to
great.
throw ice knives and
Well, they already throw knives, so that's I'm worried. Only dodging is almost pointless in a PvE scenario.
Only you think.
No. Let me tell you what. Because a shield will protect you, a well will heal you or give you a damage buff. Dodging just lets you not get shot for that few seconds that you dodge.
Yeah,
then you will continue,
you need to
especially
dodge
splash damage.
You need to dodge, like.
Yeah, but my point is you don't have to worry about that shit.
But but auto reload during dodges.
It's one of the two. So you get 2 trees. It's dodge near an enemy to recharge your melee, or dodge any other time to reload your gun. That's those are the 2.
Yeah.
You are not invincible while dodging. There are certain exotics you could get to. But I'm just saying.
But we've mentioned this many times. Like Hunters are PvP experts, right?
Because they run around, shoot, run. They don't care. They're not.
That's exactly like I have a Hunter like sitting there, and when we finish like maxing out my Warlock, I get all the gear. My Warlock looks great because that's my main.
Yeah.
I will get my Hunter like leveled up enough so that I can go in PvP and just like wreck people. I will roll around and just like shoot people and then roll around and shoot people, and it's gonna be the best time. But having said that, okay, I mean, getting back to the DLC.
You keep going off topic.
Well,
it's not off topic. It's just not. Yeah. Anyway,
it's the same thing, but essentially, like we are excited for new ways to play.
Yeah, I hope I get Hunters. Me being a Hunter, I hope we get some sort of splash damage or a grenade that does effects like you guys. I just want some balance just to come in certain spots, and then I'll be happy.
Yeah, it does look like there's a lot of new ways to play, and we are very excited. But yeah, there are a whole bunch of new updates that we haven't been able to cover, and we won't be able to cover it today.
Yep.
There's a new game that everyone's raving about called Fall Guys, and it's sort of like a 60 man battle royale, but not a battle royale mini game race.
Okay.
So it's like 50 Gumby looking people that look like Eskimos, and you're like completing tasks, and you're running against 60 other people, and it's like they're like on a platform, so like they're like platforms you can jump on and you could fall off as well, and there are like tasks like pick this up and put this over here, or run across this, or jump across this, or make it to the end of this course. And essentially you're running an obstacle course with tasks in between. But there's 60 people on a narrow bridge, and people just bumping each other off, and it's like a Gumby time. It's just,
Okay.
it's a fun, it's fun, it's Gumby, but a lot of people are really loving it, and streamers are just having a great time playing with their communities.
Okay.
A fantastic idea, a great, I suppose, like chill party game.
Right.
People can enjoy. Having said that, we want to introduce a new segment here on. Okay, let me start next.
Shadowchat.
So here on Shadowchat, we want to introduce a new segment here, and it's going to be called This Week in Esports. Okay, so This Week in Esports, technically this was last week, because we were going to talk about this the week before, but we had technical issues, unfortunately. Last week on Esports, Mount Eden announced that they are going to be turning part of their facilities into a esports performance center.
Right off the top of the bat, with that picture, where's the esporting happening?
Inside a room somewhere.
Okay, so it is still a room. So
Yeah.
you're going to be in there, but you're not going to recognize you're in Mount Eden Stadium. You know, I mean, not like when you're in the stand watching a game. It's not the same.
Not until that those titles that we're talking about
Get holograms.
can no well, there are hologram technology that they can use, but not until that they reach crowds where they think they can fill up a stadium, right? Which could be very well on the way in 10 years. You know, they're just preparing for the future, just
Fair enough.
future-proofing their facilities, because stadiums, analog stadiums, like Mount Eden, have to, so I suppose, keep up,
Yep.
diversify a little bit for new generations and the esport generation that is on our horizons that we are all a part of.
Yep.
Right? Whether it's casual gaming or whatever, Mount Eden Stadium will be ready for you and for the future to receive a new, I suppose, audience. And it's going to be operated by a lot of the Dire Wolves organization. So, having said that, some guys from the Dire Wolves guys will be running it. I know a lot of esports names are there. It's coming from a funding, Geneva Finance, I think is Geneva Finance, something like that. Some
firm.
investment company
Yep.
is putting this is overseas investment firm pouring money into this, and they're building a facility essentially. It's got like saw some plans, there's some sketches.
Yep.
2 rooms for teams to play in, a small stage for maybe like 2-3 people to stand and talk on, like more like a talk show, and then like a little seating area, and then some streamer booths and a bar. Whether they expand on that, make it a bit more bigger for crowds, is another issue.
That's the other question.
Yeah, you know, but
It's a crowd.
So far, what we do know is that Standing Fierce, the fighting game community in New Zealand, have been approached and are going to make that their new home for gaming and esports and stuff.
All right.
Lots of communities like Standing Fierce do need homes to be competing instead of going to community halls every weekend and hiring that out to
That's
have
fair.
their
That's
community
fair. I
games.
guess if they have the space beyond it being Eden Park, there's a space available.
Yeah, absolutely. So excited to see how that's going to pan out and how it's going to develop.
Especially for New Zealand as well. Interesting.
Yeah. So it only means that we're moving into, I mean, like we've gone from the NZESF being appointed by the government to be the governing body for New Zealand and New Zealand's esports scene.
Yeah.
Which means that we can potentially get more funding for a lot of the things that we're doing, and like make esports more accessible to a lot more people, and to grow the scene as well, because they are a non-profit organization, filled with a lot of people. One of those people, very predominantly and very popularly known is Duan Mutu, and Duan is like many of the other seniors in the industry. While I am technically more senior in time, Duan is a very veteran businessman, a showman. He's run TV shows, he's run studios, and so he's actually transitioned into what we know now as Let's Play Live. And he owns and he started Let's Play Live. It was previously Flame Tree Studios and the NZGC. He owns both, and he's a man with a mission. He's got a vision, and I am excited to see how it's going to go. It's also been legalized in New Zealand for Kiwis to gamble at the TAB.
That is a big one.
Yeah, so
Gambling on esports then.
gambling on esports, but nothing in New Zealand has actually qualified to as gambling.
Okay.
To be on the TAB. So while we're on our way there, we still have a long way to go until we hit that mark, because once we hit gambling standards, and you know,
I don't know how I feel
R18
about gambling on what is essentially not only a pastime, but just a way we chill out or, you know, experience, like have, it's how we play together.
Yeah.
No, we don't go out and play sport anymore.
But that's you see that's the thing that a lot of people get mixed up on, which is
Yep.
gambling and gaming and esports. Esports is purely competitive. You know, it's the same thing. Like, you know, like how did the first people that invented soccer feel about people betting on soccer? They created a ball and they just started kicking it around. Heck, it might have been a rock.
That's a fair point. Fair
It might
point.
have been a rock first. It might have been made of bamboo, but it was a ball, and people started taking bets. Like, I bet this guy's better at kicking balls than you are, right? And then put $5 on it. You know, maybe back then it was 3 silver.
Could you say then that if something becomes competitive, there's money to be made in some fashion,
So it should be that. I mean,
regardless of what
just
that
like-
thing is,
whether
whether
just like bodybuilding. Johannes here, our
gaming or-
resident bodybuilder as well. You know, like
show
um,
them.
we'll bring photos next episode.
Oh God.
Yeah, but I mean, like even in bodybuilding, right?
So there's betting on bodybuilding.
No, not betting on bodybuilding, but there's prize money, there's sponsorships, there's income to be made. So whether or not someone wins a competition, you know, that might be private, but there's no big gambling because that's not recognized as a nation sport yet. So it currently can't be nationally recognized.
Well,
But-
bodybuilding's never going to be.
Yeah, bodybuilding will never be a national
it'll-
sport.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
too
but it's
niche.
recognized as a sport within their community, and it's you know, like they can make money.
Yep.
So it just started like, and just to draw on that analogy, it started as a pastime, right? Lifting weights, getting fit, exercising, you know, or trying to achieve a body type or a type of strength,
Yes.
you know, and then people just started getting competitive.
It's a natural progression of pursuits. Anything that is literally existing in this world, if there's enough interest in it, money will always be put in it for it to grow and
Yeah.
and the thing with video games is that it's so accessible. It's inherently accessible to young and old, even though the old people don't want to.
Yeah, all you have to do is purchase your console or PC.
Heck,
Exactly.
you know,
And
like
then
we've seen,
there you are.
there
In the
are
game itself.
teams of old people playing games. You know,
Yeah.
like the Silver Snipers are a very famous, European team of seniors that play Counter Strike. You know,
Yeah.
and they all snipe.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They're-
And your grandpas and grandmas all playing there, and they go to LANs. They go to LANs. They bring their PCs. They have articles and videos written about it because they're just hot news, right? They're a hot topic. How many old people you know? How many aunties and uncles you know play Pokemon Go? That's not competition, but they have Pokemon gyms you can battle, right?
Yeah. So
It's evolving.
Yeah.
very accessible.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
And one more thing as well, with the whole gambling side of stuff, I guess there's always you're never gonna escape the ethics of gambling and how it affects the people involved, right?
Right.
I mean the whole the loot boxes, everything. That's a big talk right now in the industry, and how the big companies like EA, Ubisoft, and all that, they're
Yes.
fighting actively against regulations that the government are pushing out.
I'm
That's-
pretty sure. Actually, I thought it was London or like somewhere in Europe that
Yeah.
banned.
Yeah.
That banned
the
loot
EU
boxes.
has
Yeah.
essentially
Yeah.
banned loot boxing.
Yeah,
Because then, if we start betting on things, does it change the classification of a game?
Yeah.
Before you
Which
can even buy it.
I personally
Then-
don't see it a huge issue. I mean, just
But then there's a lockout for certain age demographics. Like, imagine people start betting on Fortnite. How many kids are suddenly going to be
They
allowed to
will.
play Fortnite?
they will.
It won't be. Kids won't be
they
able to anymore.
currently do.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
there are esport betting companies that currently take bets.
I mean, they're not legitimate. They're just there's things on the site people found online. You can bet on this. Get into this chat room.
I
Bet
mean,
on this
they
stuff.
they sell the licenses for it. Like you have to sell the license for them to take bets.
mm.
Or the company will be like, "Why are you betting my company?"
And
I'm
it just
taking
looks
you-
like a very murky water situation where
Yeah.
what are you betting on? Kids playing games?
Yeah.
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 It's
Yeah. So so you're looking at leagues where you would have to be looking at leagues where you could legally say that you can bet on these people,
Yeah.
and that's like they're 18 up.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, when it comes to betting on gaming, you're betting on people, not characters in a game. You control pretty much everything the character does, so you're betting on people.
Yeah.
It's real murky waters to me.
Yeah, it doesn't help the fact that video games like Fortnite look like they're marketed for 4-year-olds.
Yeah, for children.
And when you add money to that equation, as a parent, like what are you
exposing your kid to?
I mean it's a tough discussion, but I think the only thing that's going to solve it is going to be time, because eventually these kids are going to grow up.
Yep.
And they're going to see that it's they're going to have their own kids. They're going to see that it's more or less okay. And then the new thing that's going to take over, and
would it just get worse and worse and worse potentially? Who knows?
Who knows?
Where do you draw a line if there is to be one? Yeah.
Having said that, in just within relevancy, Shadownet does have a team in a Dota 2 league that does have a betting sponsor.
Okay.
Picklebet, right? So the Oceanic Esports is a new esport organization and tournament organizer in ANZ. They have a betting sponsor, Picklebet, and they're partnered with them. But that's in Australia. I can't really say anything about that. I'd have no clue. All I do know is that this team that we picked up, we're the champion team, right? And that we have a franchise spot in there. That's what I can say. I know only as far as my contract goes. But they do have lawyers, and they do have a whole legal team. So
that's good.
Everything should be sweet. Having said that, I'm excited to see how this new Dota team goes. We haven't actually emphasized too much about them, but mainly because we own that Dota league for Oceanic Esports. Essentially, we only acquire the coach that I brought in, who's his name is Techniques. Techniques himself has T1 to T5 experience. That is the international. He's had 5 years of the international experience, and it's massive. We're at the international 10 now, and so he's been in the competitive international Dota scene for 5 years. Right, that's huge, massive. We couldn't get a better coach in New Zealand, or in Australia. So I'm very, very, very proud to have Techniques on board, especially because he's a very close friend of mine. Dates one of my sisters, not my real sisters, one of my Asian sisters. Having said that, we also have the championship team captain. His name's Corrosive. Now, Corrosive is the only member on that team that will actually stay with our roster.
Okay.
Because the other 4 get drafted and go back into a draft, just like any other sports league. So we're excited to see how this new roster that we picked up goes. Excited to see how it pans out. Not too sure if they're gonna gel, but they were definitely the picks that they wanted. So very excited for them, and for the new roster for Valorant that we will announce soon, because we've had some changes. We found out one of our players wasn't very honest and was not an honest player, put it that way. So we've swapped. We've immediately terminated him, and we don't support we just don't support cheating. So we got rid of him. And it was very obvious because his performance on day was trash. I could get a better score than him. It was horrible. But he was a toxic player anyway, even if his gameplay was real, which it wasn't. And we are excited to announce our new rosters. So,
and that's the other thing, was as gaming evolves, it's less about how you play; it's also who you are. It's everything else that you do. Especially for other organizations.
Because people are becoming more like these players are becoming real athletes. They are real athletes. Like, it's just very different kind of athlete, right?
Mental acuity versus almost anything else.
And a lot of mental maturity as well. Because you're in a game where you feel like you have all the power, but you get absolutely dumpstered.
Yep.
And you just get dumpstered, and you have to learn how to work around that. Like, we play a raid, we lose it 3 times. You
get frustrated.
We get frustrated. We just want to stop for a bit. These guys don't get that option. They have to keep playing. They have to do 20 rounds of Counter-Strike. Right, 20 rounds.
Even if they get wrecked every round,
they could get wrecked 10 rounds in a row, and they still have 3 rounds to find that little bit of hope.
Yep.
To say that we're gonna make a 10-round comeback. They need that kind of mental fortitude. It's actually a different game, but they also need physical health. Right, because we're still human. We still get back pain from sitting down for too long. We still get
the arthritis.
Arthritis. Carpal tunnel, whatever it is. We still need health and medical assistance.
Yep.
Having said that, in addition to that, with esports and for the next update for this week in esports, NEOM was NEOM.
Oh, NEOM, sorry.
NEOM was announced to be the new partner for both the LEC and Blast Premier. Blast Premier and the LEC are both top tier tournament organizers for both Counter-Strike and then League of Legends in Europe. Both communities and the general esport gaming community is very strong in their LGBT community and their support for the LGBT community.
Yeah, gaming's meant to be for everyone, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
As we mentioned, anyone can get into it.
Yeah, and we are whoever we want to be in gaming, and that's exactly what it is.
Yes.
But having said that, NEOM is a Saudi Arabian property development, or city development, that's owned by the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and who is also the Deputy Prime Minister. This Crown Prince is also responsible for 49 beheadings, or 48 beheadings of anyone that's remotely homosexual. Also lots of imprisonments and obviously a lot of human rights and social injustice.
But that's then the inherent problem of gaming maturing, is that you've broken out of being this thing that kids do in their free time to now being a part of more an adult world where there's a lot of conflicting ideologies, horrible crap happening, some good stuff too, but you have to play in the field that you're in.
Yeah, exactly. So, but see, the thing is, these are all like proprietary technology, right? So which is where we come to the split. The LEC have been very strong with developing the LGBT community and supporting that. They've got gay characters, they've got very rainbowy characters as well. And they're very strong with their Pride Month stuff. And they've got even a Pride Month emote for Legends of Runeterra. They also released a statement here that you see on the board immediately after they posted their announcement. Within 24 hours, pretty much, they just saw this huge community backlash of going, you're excited for the future without your community. We're sorely disappointed. You guys really dropped the ball on this. The list goes on of how horrible this response was and for this partnership to have gone through. However, Blast Premier, I haven't checked this morning, but have not said anything about it. They have been posting gameplay clips and they have been going gun-ho all the way. So they don't... No semblance of a fuck given. But the LEC have come forward and they've terminated their partnership for the summer.
With NEOM.
They're not going forward with that partnership anymore. They've sorely apologized, but they've definitely lost a lot of followers. They've definitely lost a lot of support from the community.
It's hard to pull
and
back.
A lot of people are both relieved that they have actually gone through with terminating that relationship. But a lot of people are so shocked that they're not going to support it.
They've lost faith.
Yeah, because to be fair, we've Shadownet's made its own mistakes. But how do you not research someone trying to give you a few $1 million? You yourself are an organization that makes millions of dollars every year, hundreds of millions of dollars, and you don't research this guy that's offering you a few $100 million as well. And there's no way they weren't giving them $100 million either, because one, it's the LEC. It's probably one of the biggest leagues in the world. It has some of the best viewership on Twitch. Second of all, it's all of Europe put together. That's a lot of euros. Thirdly, NEOM are building a $500 billion city where they claim they're going to have robots to do mundane tasks like clean up streets and collect rubbish. They're going to have flying taxis and human advancements that are going to make being human better.
Cyberpunk shit.
Some cyberpunk shit with flying taxis, right? How do you not talk to a company like this and research what they do? Ask for maybe $1 billion. How do you not ask for $1 billion from a company that's building a $500 billion city? Right? And also find out that these guys are also taking land that was supposed to be virgin lands, but they're actually taking lands from native tribes and killing people on their own land to actually evict them to build a city. We're not going to go too far deep into that.
The world politics scale is...
We're not going to go too far deep into that. That's just the news. But I haven't seen anything from Blast Premier. If they have put out an announcement or an apology, I'm sorry, but I haven't seen it. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff on that little graph there that you see of what they're trying to build, and it's just like it's real shocking.
Yeah.
To have seen that someone so big, like Shadownet's run by like 3 guys, 3 people, like our back end, but the LEC is like a multi-billion-dollar company. Like there's no room for excuses there, you know. I don't watch League of Legends anymore.
Okay. Did you watch the animated shorts that come out?
Oh, I still watch that.
The story stuff.
That's just dope. That's just dope. But the LEC is its own entity. It's its own league, and they make their own partnerships. And they just get approved. But having said that, it is a company decision. We're not going to go too far deeper because then we're going to be talking about who owns the League of Legends, and that's China. But we'll not go deeper into that. Having that was the news for this week in esports. Very shocking, very traumatic for a lot of people, but definitely something that we're going to bring to the table more often. Some weekly news.
I'm sure this will keep going as well. There'll be more about it coming out. As Blast Furnace, you said. Blast Furnace? What did they?
Blast Premier.
Blast Premier. Blast Furnace.
For those who don't know, that is the pulse rifle from Destiny 2. Wow, you are addicted.
No, it's just the first thing that pops in my head. But maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there'll be an evolving scene. And probably not even the last example you'll see of that kind of stuff happening.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It definitely is a very changing, evolving landscape for us here at Shadownet. But having said that, we're excited to have this new segment here with us. We're going to try to do this every week. Game updates, reviews, whenever possible. We'll be doing a review maybe in like another 1 or 2 weeks for some older games that are already out. And we'll be keeping that involved. Johannes is going to go through that. I will also be going through my own games and playing them and also doing my own reviews of them. And I suppose all of us here will be playing our own games. So we'll be bringing something to the table once in a while.
Yep.
But let's move on to our main discussion today. Joe Rogan's statement on gaming.
Everyone's main discussion.
Everyone's main discussion.
Everyone's talking about it.
You guys will see it eventually. It'll flick through on the slideshow, but essentially everyone's replied to Joe Rogan. Ninja's replied to Joe Rogan. The esports scorers replied to Joe Rogan. The esports talk show has replied to Joe Rogan. You see all these videos replying to Joe Rogan? All those videos, and you know everyone's going at it. Ninja as well. He really focused. So if you guys watch the actual statement,
I've seen I've watched the main video the clip, and I've seen some replies. I haven't seen everyone's.
Yeah.
So what would you have you seen quite a lot?
I did a little bit of research, but I didn't go through a lot of the comments because they started to sound very mundane and very similar to one another.
Okay, what had you been hearing? What's the general vibe?
Yes, you can make money from esports. Right? You can make money from gaming. You can. Right? That was the general reply. That's mainly what Ninja focuses on in his Instagram or Twitter reply. Right. Where he just goes on and he says like, hey, you can actually make money. Like obviously I made 30 million this year, blah blah blah. And yeah, it's more accessible to other people and stuff. But like let's go through what Joe Rogan actually says.
Yes, that's I think we should focus on definitely.
So Joe Rogan actually goes through and he says in the start that you know what, I think gaming is a real problem because it's fucking fun. Right? It's fucking fun. I'm playing it all the time, and you know what? I just get nowhere with it. That's essentially paraphrase what he says. Right? You could be the same kid, play 30 years down the line, still just looking for the next game to play. Right? But you're still the same kid. Right? And people don't realize this, but that comes from himself.
Yes.
He's addicted, and he loves Grand Theft Auto and Quake. The guy loves gaming just as much as any other guy. Right? But he then goes on to use an analogy about how you could be doing jiu-jitsu, right? You could be learning jiu-jitsu, you could be practicing it, and you know jiu-jitsu is supposed to be for everyone. It's a martial art that can be
anybody, literally anybody,
that's applicable to everyone.
Yes.
And there are videos of how applicable it can be. And he goes on to say that, you know, like, you could be a jiu-jitsu guy, you know, now, and in 3 years you could be a green belt, and, you know, like, 5 years, 10 years down the line, you could be a black belt, brown belt, whatever.
Purple is, I think what he said,
Right.
yeah.
Purple belt. And you could be like, I could start my own dojo. You know? You could like, see your jiu-jitsu master, and he's got 100 students. You charge all these guys $5 each. You'll have this much money every week, or this much money every month, and you could have a BMW, you could have a Mercedes. You know, you could have the life that you want, right? And that makes sense because you know you would just take your practice and you would like you can make a business out of it. So, and he says, and so I suppose the obvious reply to that is that's also applicable to gaming because everyone can be a streamer and start a career now. Right? There's so many streaming platforms available and there's so many ways you can monetize that that you can. You don't have to go into depth on how you can because Ninja does that. Everyone already knows it. You can get donations, you get subs, you can get merchandise.
Yeah, not everyone who practices MMA or jiu-jitsu goes on to the UFC to earn money for the same reason.
And not everyone that practices MMA or, you know, jiu-jitsu or boxing that wants to start a career
is successful.
It's successful or can.
Yeah.
The same also applies to gaming.
Yep.
Right?
Like we know Joseph in particular is quite good at FPS games. I was thinking about this the other day. But would he still be that good if he suddenly joined a team and went pro or something?
He would have had to practice communication for so long, but he doesn't personally have the aptitude for it. He doesn't practice to have the aptitude for like a lot of communication. We've seen him on the show quite a lot, like for like 9 episodes straight. And the guy just says yes. You know, like we ask him questions.
We love him. We know how he works.
He's our best friend for a reason.
Yeah, but it's just about in that setting, it wouldn't work for him. He's good. We know he's good at these games because he's frustrated that we're not as good as him. Yeah. Which is the main gripe always in anything. Yeah. It's like, how are you not doing that? We don't know. We're trying.
You know, but at the same time, we're also better at him at other things. You know? Yep. And people have different attitudes.
Yes.
Right? People are inclined to do different things. What Joe Rogan fails to understand in his statement is that gaming has many ways of monetizing. You could be handicapped and still make money, right? There is a literal paraplegic gamer that streams with a controller that uses his mouth.
Oh wow!
And so he can use his tongue to move the joystick, or blow into a pipe to shoot, or move the whole thing with his mouth, like it's motion sensitive.
Oh, that's good.
And he can aim, and he plays Warzone, and he destroys people. I forgot what his name is, but he's a paraplegic, and he's crazy. And he streams, and he makes money. He makes a living doing that.
That's good.
Right? You can't do that with jiu-jitsu, right?
No, you need an able-bodied person.
You literally need your arms
and legs.
Your legs and your hips.
Yep.
Right? And so, what I think he also misses on is the difference between gaming and esports.
Yes.
So he doesn't understand that esports is literally designed, like we were speaking about before.
Yeah, exactly.
It is designed to generate income.
Yep.
Right, and to generate a living. That's why it's competitive. People putting money into it, and just like Johanna said, it is a natural progression for anything with interest that it will have an income revenue source.
Yep.
Having said that, but Joe Rogan's also not completely wrong.
No, it's not.
Right? A lot of people do actually pursue gaming as a career.
Think about how we played Destiny in particular, since we talk about it from when Destiny 1 came out. If we had spent that exact amount of time doing, let's say, learning jiu-jitsu or boxing or a skill or a trade, where would we be now with that? We wouldn't be on this chat, but maybe we'd be earning more money in a different fashion, which is where I think his comments have merit.
Yeah.
It's that we have been those kids who played that game, then went to the next game, but we're still, in gaming sense, we're still at the same level.
Yeah.
We're just doing it for fun in our spare time, spending hours, our weekends sometimes. Like raiding takes hours sometimes.
And even if we're not even making money out of jiu-jitsu, I suppose his comment where we could be not the same person anymore. If we were, for Johannes' sake, to understand, if we weren't gaming in our spare time, we were lifting weights, or we were doing something else. We would be better people in 10 years down the line. Instead of spending that time on gaming, or we would be taking care of our nutrition, or we're going to sleep. But having said that,
I'm going to sleep. Did you say?
Yeah, fucking getting more sleep. I need sleep. Heck.
Staying up playing games.
Yeah. But having said that, I think it's about time management because Johannes is probably one of the most dedicated gym fanatics I know. You and me both as well religiously go to the gym, or me as much as I can now with me running Shadownet. But at no point of time have we ever sat there and been like, oh, I can't play games all week long because I'm gymming every single moment of my night.
No, you just replaced one addiction
Yeah,
with
you
another.
just you just you replace one with the other, or you just shorten your time on gaming.
Yep.
Right. You just like you replaced one with the other, or you just played it at a different time, or you played it less, or you played a different game instead. You know, everyone needs a pastime anyway. We just choose that instead of reading a book, we just play games.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. Gaming as a medium is just a hobby compared to reading a book or watching movies. It's no different. It is a waste. Watching a movie is a waste of time. Listening to Joe Rogan's podcast is a waste of time. In the same fashion is what I mean. You're not getting any better at essentially listening to people. You get what I'm saying? Since you listen to it, I'm looking at you.
You get better by putting things into practice after listening. But how many people actually do that?
Exactly.
They love to say that they do, but like you don't actually see them doing that 24/7. So it's.
And this is coming from someone that used to watch Joe Rogan.
That's why I'm looking at it when I'm saying it on purpose, because I know he's watching it. I don't want to offend you by saying you watch, but I mean, if we read books, you get better at reading. There's a there's a scientific reason reading is good for you, but
needs to read.
He does need to read. But you don't get anywhere. You're not going to suddenly go and write your own book because you've been reading a lot. You read it because you like the story, stuff like that. You watch a movie for that same reason.
And there are people automatically think, oh, you read lots of books, you must be smart, or you must be like very articulate and stuff. But in reality, books, there are good books, there are bad books, there are good writers and there are bad writers. If you spend all your time reading
everything
bad books, then you're not going to get anything out of it. And it's the same thing with video games. There's pure like AAA class art, and then there's trash. And some people play a lot of trash, like pay to win mobile games. And to those, I would consider it as a waste of time, because you're not enriching your quality of life in any way. If anything, you're making it worse, just for simple dopamine release, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Ghost of Tsushima, or I don't know, whatever, it teaches you things. It makes you sort of immerses you in that world and that time, right? So there's layers to it. There's different levels of good things and bad things. And what I think Joe Rogan sort of had, I think when you get to like that kind of level of fame, right? I mean, he's the first podcast ever in the entire world, basically. And there's a sense of,
well, I mean, if there was a podcast before him, no one remembers it.
Exactly. There's an ego there that is just so built and so like large that he's projecting a lot. He's projecting a lot of his own insecurities about video games and how he sees himself from a third-person perspective when he plays video games. Like he constantly talks about Quake like it was 1999, and it's like, mate, it's not 1999 anymore. There's other shit out there that you can play.
Yep.
But that's the only frame of reference that he had is his 20, however old he was, year old self playing those games, being terrible at it, and realizing that he's not getting anything out of it. So he's basically saying, because that happened to me, it must be happening to everyone else.
And not entirely wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, it's projection.
Yep.
He's projecting his own self when he's talking about those things.
Yep. You know what I'd pay to watch?
What's that?
Joe Rogan playing
video games. It's going to happen on this chat.
Joe Rogan,
after all of this, he is going to do a video game.
If Joe Rogan ever watches this by some fucked up sense of chance, if Joe Rogan ever watches this, I will buy your entire rig for you, and I will fly to America to set it up in your house. I will walk through the freaking crowds of COVID-infested.
Don't come. This is the last you ever see of Ian. This has been.
And I'll do it just to watch Joe Rogan stream Quake. Stream Quake Champions. If Joe Rogan streams Quake Champions, I will play with him, and I will die a COVID-infested happy man.
All right, you heard it here first, folks.
Look, but I think like he he wants to understand it. If anything, the reason why he got this big is because he's a person that wants to understand. He is a meathead, you know. He is very strong in certain ideologies, but he's mature enough to understand that there are different points of views.
That's why he always gets someone else on the other end of his chat line as well.
And that's that's the episodes I really love, is when he gets people that like he completely knows nothing of in the field on the show. Take, for example, before Doom Eternal came out, he got Hugo Martin on for an entire episode. And I was just like, holy shit, he just got Hugo Martin on. Hugo Martin's the creative director of Doom Eternal, Doom series, the reboot. So, I mean, obviously it was very kind of like base, you know, boomer level of questions that he kind of threw at him. And Hugo, being the class man he is, sort of spun that up and kind of drummed up more
content
interest.
From
if anything, that must have drove sales like crazy with the exposure that that podcast had. So he's trying, but he still has a lot to sort of learn. I guess it's the way things are.
Yeah. So I mean, the general outrage that we see from the community coming back from this is essentially everyone going, "No, Joe Rogan, you can make a living out of gaming. Trust me, my stream's doing really well. I have 500 subs."
Yeah, they are people who, out of how many people who play games that are making money from it? The same argument for anything else.
Right, so it's very skewed. Like, obviously, people are getting, like, we live in a time and a day and age where everyone gets offended about everything.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Yeah. And while there is a lot of offensive shit that should be stopped, right? And we do agree that there's a lot of bigotry left in the world that we need to eliminate. A lot of people are reacting a bit, I suppose, a bit
too soon, without thinking.
I suppose not taking into account what he's saying or where it's coming from, and so, you know, like the esports talk show, that I put up on the slides, was the guy with the Genji that we're watching in the back with Ninja's video in the corner and Joe Rogan's picture in the corner, and also linking something that from TMS Chica. Essentially, he says that, you know, like, you guys need to understand that this comes from this comes from somewhere where Joe Rogan, you know, like, it comes from a personal place for Joe Rogan, and he's sort of like the Johannes said, actually is projecting his own ego and his own, like, self-reflections onto everything else, because like Jay said, it is built up, and the podcast is all about him.
Yes.
Right. It's not like Shadowchat where it's just like the three of us giving our opinions. Like, we all share the different opinions.
Yep.
It's Joe Rogan about Joe Rogan's experience and experiencing what it's like in Joe Rogan's brain.
Yep.
Right? Whether it's like, I want to know what Elon Musk is like when he's high. So we'll get him high on the podcast.
Yep.
You know, Joe Rogan, Elon Musk, you know, like, it's like, you know, like it's not about that.
No.
You know, like, people don't understand that he's a boomer, right? And people can't cancel boomers.
No,
we can't cancel boomers all the time. We can't just be like, this is another Karen and Kevin moment. You know, Karen and Kevin will never learn if we don't educate them. Like,
exactly.
Well, we educate.
You can't just shut them down. You need to bring them up.
We can't shut down our parents. You know, like, our parents are Karens and Kevins.
Yep.
You know, they're both Karens sometimes, but like, we educate our parents, and, you know, when a lot of us, like, when I wanted to pursue running League of Legends NZ for a year, I went to my parents. I was like, "Look, Mom, Dad, I'm, like, really good at running this group. Like, I want to do this for a year, right? Can you support me while I do this?" And they were like, "What is it?"
Yeah. And
I told them, this is esports. I run an esports group. It's League of Legends NZ. We do gaming stuff. We do competitions. I hold tournaments. I hold sports stuff. We have sponsors, you know, and I told them, like, this is how people make money. This is how people make a living.
Yep.
And this is how people are reacting to what I do. And, you know, I had to sit there and I talk them through it. To show them a freaking slideshow. I showed them photos of the first League of Legends tournaments, and I say like, this is the progression from League of Legends first championship to the second championship. I did like a slideshow annotation and like presentation on how it's growing. It's like I was pitching a business proposal to my parents. But the thing is, we still need to do that.
Yes.
People need to understand that Joe Rogan needs to be educated. He doesn't need to be shut down or replied to, or been like, guys, don't worry, Joe Rogan's wrong. That's not how we should be replying.
No.
We need to, and so what we're doing here on Shadowchat is explaining to people, Joe Rogan doesn't understand fully, but he does have that like capacity to, because he comes from the same background that we do. He's just older, and he's been in this analog world where it's just a bunch of meatheads punching each other, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. No. We used to punch each other, literally. That's my sparring partner. We train jiu-jitsu, we train MMA, we train ninjutsu together. We punch each other. I stabbed this guy in the eye a couple of times.
Cut your nails.
I have. I did it yesterday. Thank you. And for people like us to know exactly what Joe Rogan's coming from, where he's coming from, like all I'm saying is like, guys, we don't need to reply to Joe Rogan and be like, Joe Rogan's wrong or Joe Rogan's right or anything like that. We need to understand that Joe Rogan is not just someone that we need to talk to or reply or shut down or boost up or advocate or protect. Joe Rogan is an example of the challenges that we still encounter in esports and gaming.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
We are making it, like we talked about earlier today, we talked about gambling being legalized in New Zealand. We talked about an esports center in Mount Eden run by people from the Direwolves. We talked about gaming in general.
Yeah, gaming is growing up.
Yeah, and how gaming is growing up, and how, off the podcast we were talking about how, like our partners accept gaming. Like the three of us game.
Yes.
Our partners don't necessarily game.
No.
And they don't understand it. But they have
different interests.
Yeah, they have different interests, but we've had to educate them as well.
Yeah. And
we've had to sort of like tell them what we face. So Joe Rogan is an example of exactly that. We, as gaming grows up, in your words, and as gaming evolves and as esports gets out there more and more, we can't just sit there and be like, you guys are wrong, we're right. Because I'm not about that cancel culture shit.
No, neither.
That cancel culture can get out the fucking window.
Cancel culture. Thank you.
Hashtag. Right? We need to educate all the Karens and Kevins on how esports is making a living. And a lot of people already understand. A lot of parents are getting on board. And like a lot of parents are already understanding, oh yeah, Fortnite's pretty good, makes a lot of money. Yeah, people winning lots of prize money. Yeah, they understand the prize money side now.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
When money comes involved.
There we go. Prize money sorted.
You're finally making a living.
Right. But they still don't understand the industry.
No.
Because these guys, all these people, they don't understand it. When people offer and people trying to teach them also don't understand it.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people trying to teach esports, and they'll say like, okay, we're going to teach esports stuff. We're going to get an internet cafe worth of PCs, and our esports lessons are people playing on the games. How to control their mental fortitude, right? This is no particular one person or organization, by the way. This is like everyone I've talked to. This is like 5 different organizations.
Wow.
Right? And sorry. I don't mind the fact that some of these people will be like slightly offended that I'm saying this, because I'm not naming anyone.
Yeah.
But I hope that in retrospect that they will actually come to me and ask me what my opinion is on how to educate people, right? Because people are going up and telling them this is what esports is, right? This is how esports works. Great, that matters. But having an internet cafe worth of computers and then people just jumping on and playing and being like, okay, you did this bad here, learn how to do this better here. That's not teaching people how to play esports or compete in esports. That is just coaching.
Yeah.
Coaching is different from teaching or educating esports, right? If you want to teach esports, you need a course or a development program that's actually going to develop fundamental skills that can be carried over past a single title. If you have a class about Fortnite, you failed. Because Fortnite will die in 10 years.
Yep.
Right? Or if it's like League of Legends and it continues past 10 years, fine. But you have not taught esports at a fundamental core level. Right? You are teaching a game and you are coaching.
Yep.
You are not an esports educator.
Yep.
You are a Fortnite coach.
Yep.
That is all that is. And when you're coming to mental fortitude, esports coach again, gaming coach, Fortnite coach. You are a coach. You are a partner. Just like when Jay or I went through our fitness model competitions, right? Mine was a very low level fitness model competition, but Jay's fitness model competition was very high tier. He goes to the WBFF. It's the most glamorous, like one of the most prestigious fashion and beauty fitness shows out there, right? His coach, when he is super freaking depressed because he's on super low calories, his coach will help him like reinforce his mental state, right?
Yeah.
Give him positive reinforcement.
That's what a good coach does.
Yeah, and pushes him through that physical barrier where he's unable to do something, or help him get past like an exercise that he can't do because of a physical restriction.
Yep.
So he can train that muscle in a different way or work around it to help him gain the game advantage. Same with Fortnite coaching. If you go out there and you're trying to train your Fortnite player, and you're coaching,
Yep.
right? But if you take that coaching and then you pitch that like, oh, this center is for esports, it's not. You're just glamorous Fortnite coaches, right? You're glorified Fortnite coaches. I've seen so many esports people being like, we're gonna do this, right? Heck, I swear, I hope this esports center in Mount Eden doesn't do that.
Hopefully not. Yeah.
I hope they don't go and be like, we're gonna teach esports to high schools, and then they just have the kids play on computers and be like, okay, great. What's your score, guys? Oh, you did great. You're gonna do well in esports. That's not how it works.
No, not
right?
at all.
You want to teach esports? Get these kids and get them to do team activities, physical team activities. Get them actually physically communicating with each other.
Yeah, make them a team before you throw them into the game.
Get them
itself.
as a team and then put the game in there.
Yeah, exactly.
As something that mixes the spanner in the works.
Yeah,
Put
I
the
mean,
spanner in the works.
professional sports teams have camps like that already, where they'll go together to do specific activities. It's not necessarily the sport they're going to play in, but it's to get their minds working together. They learn from each other. They learn how each other works, and then you fix each other's problems, essentially.
Yeah. Coaching doesn't just start at a game level.
Yep.
Right? It is a person-to-person, player-to-player, athlete-to-athlete development process.
Yep.
Right? And that should be, in itself, is coaching, but should be incorporated into educational courses, because you're essentially just training athletes, but only their mental aspects.
Yep.
Right? And yes, you have to train their physical aspects, and there should be courses and development programs for physical betterment.
Yes.
For esport players to keep them healthy. I don't want to see, right, courses that go out and get put into Mount Eden Stadium, right? If we're gonna have like a training facility in Mount Eden Stadium, I do not want to see a New Zealand, like the New Zealand's home for the All Blacks, coaching a bunch of players, right, how to play Fortnite or League of Legends or Dota or like Street Fighter, and then those people can't do a single squat, right?
Yep.
Not because they don't know how, but because they physically can't, because they've been sitting down all day long.
Right.
So if they want to really make this esports center in Mount Eden proper, anyone with a membership or anyone that subscribe to their services should be given free physiotherapy if they elect to do it. Obviously, it's their choice. But if you want to really put that service forward, that's what you need to do.
Yeah. Have a fitness program attached to your mental program.
Yeah, because this is New Zealand.
Yeah.
We're a country of champions, right? We're the fucking best, right? Right?
I will say there's a lot of fit culture in Australia and New Zealand that's not actually in the rest of the world.
Yeah.
It's really odd.
Yeah.
When I've traveled and stuff, I'm like, there's like hardly any gyms. Or like there's not stores that just sell protein powder. Like you walk through the city on Queen Street, there's like 3. At least I can count on my head. This doesn't exist in other countries. You have to go and find these protein places. You have to look quite hard. Where you just walk around and there they are.
I mean, shit. Auckland City has 2 city fitnesses next to each other.
Yep.
Right? Wellington had 3 city fitnesses within Wellington CBD, and Wellington CBD is pretty much the entire city.
Yep.
Right? You could walk to between each of those city fitnesses. K Road, City Fitness on Queen Street, and City Fitness Queen Street are like 5 minutes away from each other. There is no, and like one is significantly bigger than the other one.
Yep.
And they're both packed.
Yep. Always.
At all times. Always full.
You know, what just came into my mind is that I think esports is the... How do I phrase this? Okay, you don't see rugby players switching to soccer.
Right.
You don't see soccer players switching to tennis when, you know, soccer season dies down or something like that. It's something that is so inherently unique to esports. You know, games rise and fall, new ones take over, and you're absolutely right about teaching them the adaptability of the aspect of esports.
Who the hell plays squash anymore, right?
It's so unique, and I think this is what I like about esports is I'm not watching the same bloody game that's been around for 200 years, you know, invented by the Victorians. You know, there's always something new. There's always something flashier and cooler on the horizon. That's just going to catch my interest. Esports is going to be like the forefront of coaching athletes, I feel like, because of that sheer adaptability that an athlete needs to have to be able to survive for more than 2 years.
And you know, within the esports scene, we do see a lot of athletes actually moving into a very fitness, like a balance of fitness. There are a lot of esports athletes that are very, very, very buff, very strong, very lean, and very athletic. Yeah.
Something about those Counter-Strike guys, man. They're all just
jacked. Yeah, Rainbow Six Bears getting there as well, to be fair. And you know what? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Fitness, and I mean, an esport athlete also needs to be fit. They need good nutrition.
Yes.
So they have good mental cognitive processes, right? And having said that, you know, like, this is coming back to literally what Joe Rogan was saying. Like, this is why a lot of people this is why he thinks that people won't get anywhere, right? He doesn't see that the esport people need to do this.
Yep.
Right? He doesn't understand it. He just
there's a separation. Yeah. There's the fit people. There's the gaming people. There's no middle ground for. Or he doesn't notice that there
anyone
is.
talks to them, they only talk about the actual video game.
Yep.
They don't actually talk to them about the actual like physical processes that they have to go through, or the actual physical boundaries that they have to jump over. Right? If anyone at Mount Eden Stadium wants to battle or like counteract or, you know, like represent.
You said battle, my mind instantly went to come 1v1 me down there on the pitch. Let's go.
Richard McDonald's, let's go. 1 ounce. No, but if they want to take on anybody that's close to what Joe Rogan is, like, that would put it down, because it's going to have scrutiny. It probably has scrutiny already, right? Because this is the home of the All Blacks, right? Anyone represented or trained in that facility, it's going to have expectations that they're going to be given the same services as the All Blacks, right? The same services or the same, I suppose, prestige as the All Blacks, right? And it could be like a general community thing where they just get to come and use the facilities and they just get out, right?
Just a moneymaker, yeah.
Yeah, just a moneymaker.
Like, essentially an internet cafe with the label of Mount Eden.
Yeah, right. The label of the All Blacks, essentially, right? Not literally, but the association.
Yes.
But if that's going to happen, you know, we're never going to get past this boundary where esports is growing up and then we're going to teach people about it. We have to educate people. And I feel like for us at Shadowchat, it is like literally part of our job, like our responsibility to be, I suppose, like representatives of this good balance. Right? The three of us here are like religiously exercise weekly, you know, some more than others and some more hardcore than others.
What? Look at me.
Yeah. And you know, like,
this is a guy who's starting his 6 meal a day again. He's going hard now.
Just got it, man. Got it.
Yeah, you know, and you know, like, and some people like me struggle in between. Like, I'm anywhere between not exercising the whole week or I'm exercising 5 times a week,
Yep.
or I'm, you know, like I'm having donuts with my girlfriend on the weekend, or I'm just having salads in the week, you know. But it's finding that balance in between your lifestyles that that I want us to advocate, and I think that we are the only proper advocates for it, because I don't see anyone in ANZ that's healthy, fit, or knows anything they're talking about when it comes to fitness,
Right.
right? Or well-being.
Found your niche. Well done.
Yeah. It only took me going to my closest friends to flex our biceps.
You went so far, only to come right back.
But
Welcome home.
partner. That's an inside joke, because the Destiny 2 Solstice thing has a cowboy
It's always
ghost.
Destiny. Always has been.
It always has been Destiny. But that is it.
Yep.
And you know, we've come full circle now. We've literally tied everything up.
We did.
We've gone from Joe Rogan's statement of saying that gaming is a complete waste of time because it doesn't get us anywhere.
Yep.
And then we dissected that and we said, you know what, we are not angry at him.
No.
Right? Because it comes from a place, a personal place from him. And then we've said that, you know what, he's not completely right either, right? He's not completely right because obviously you can make a living. A lot of people do make a living out of gaming these days. But he's not completely wrong because...
Not everyone does.
Yeah, not everyone is going to get better.
Yeah.
Right? And not everyone is going to be able to make gaming their career. And a lot of people do vegetate and do waste a lot of their time on gaming because it in itself is an escapism.
It is completely latent to me.
And
that's what it always has been anyway. It's you finish your job, you got time to play some games.
Yeah. Same
zone
thing
out.
with jiu-jitsu. But it's the same thing with jiu-jitsu. It's
True
a
enough.
double-sided coin.
There's that
You know,
high, yeah.
You go and you practice jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You roll.
Yeah.
And then, you know, you come back and you're like, yes, you've learned new techniques.
Yep.
You're physically stronger.
Yep.
You're physically more adaptable.
Yeah. How many times, like after class, like you'd go home in the shower and you just keep thinking about it. You're like, oh, I should have done that different, or
can't
I wonder
believe
if I
he
can
got me
do
in that headlock.
Yeah, like I could. It's something to think
That
about.
bastard, he poked me in the eyes again. Like a true ninja.
Yeah.
But that in itself, right? Yes, you can progress that way. But it's not like you can't progress with gaming either. You can also learn communication skills. You can also learn. You can also make great friends. All that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And those are the general applies. Those are all true. But at the same time, it's this problem that Joe Rogan brings with him is that Karens and Kevins are still out there and they're still uneducated.
Yep. I think the Mount Eden thing's going to get a lot of backlash from these Karens and Kevins as well, being like, no, this is for actual sport, not that thing.
And that's fine. It's just a natural process that we got to go through.
Yeah.
But the problem then comes that we cannot cancel any of these people, guys. We can't go out there and be like, oh, it's a Karen and Kevin thing, fuck it, whatever. You know, like we have to be the ones to go out there and say, actually, this is why it is important and why it's an educated process.
Just imagine it was like...
We need to be patient with these people.
Yeah. I'm just like, in my head, like when you first show your parents Facebook or something, you have to show them how it works. Imagine you just told them to get lost.
Yeah.
Imagine you didn't tell them like this is how the remote works or anything. Nope, you did none of that. You just said sort it out yourself. Blah blah blah. Cancel, and walk away.
You're like, oh my god, you're not with esports.
Yeah. Oh, I hate you. Look at you, terrible.
Yeah, and even if you don't say
like,
that,
go to your
because
room.
there's multiple avenues you could go through. Right?
Yes,
multiple avenues you can even talk about. But even if you don't cancel people for not understanding what esports is, right? Even if you don't cancel someone, essentially what we are like you still have to teach people because we are changing. Esports is growing up. You're right. It is growing up. And esports in itself needs to still be handheld and carried. We are peaking with esports, but we're not all the way there yet.
No.
It'll be there, and it'll be like our mission at Shadowchat. And for the wider gaming community within ANZ and New Zealand, Australia, or the world, our mission will be complete when gaming and esports becomes an everyday pastime that will either get picked up or dropped, you know, looked at or passed along, or, you know, there'll be still lots of people that still never played sports. Lots of people that never participated in PE. But our mission will be accomplished when every single country acknowledges esports as a sport, right? And it'll be different because it's all proprietary and it's all owned by particular companies and industry and you know, like developers. But when it becomes so widely known that everyone understands it, like it's soccer, I get that, and they know everything about soccer, or even if they don't know the rules, right? At least they understand goal here, ball in. I understand why this is exciting.
Yes.
You know, I understand why people like this. I understand.
Actually, I don't understand why people like soccer. It's very boring.
It is.
You watch
It
soccer?
is just
Also, cricket.
oh
Jesus.
god, this takes so long.
I've played cricket with like school. I'm like, oh, I hate cricket so much.
This is big coming from a South African guy.
Oh, cricket's so boring.
But that's it.
Yeah.
You know, like Joe Rogan brings a problem with him. We have to address it. We can't just, and it's gonna just make it worse.
Yeah.
It's just gonna just keep going around and round and round, and it's gonna feed back into Mount Eden's the whole Mount Eden thing.
Yeah.
It's gonna feed back into, other things happening as well, right? And communities in esports are also going to get affected.
Mm-hmm.
Like the LGBT community was like wildly affected by the whole NEOM thing.
Mm-hmm.
I bet a bunch of boomers didn't even look at it and be like, "Oh, I feel sorry for the NEOM people." Like they just looked at it. They looked at them. They probably looked at the money like, "Oh, nice." Or they looked at they looked at they looked at it like, "Oh, Saudi." You know, like, but they don't understand our problems, right? The world is becoming ours, and because the world is becoming ours, we need to show them why and how it works. I think that's what we need to do, and I think Shadowchat is for me, and our catalyst, in a good position for us to actually convey that.
Yep.
And we'll do that whenever we can. We have this weekly esports talk, whatever we can, as much as we can. But thank you, so much to everybody for supporting us.
You're very passionate today. It's good.
Esports is, I breathe esports. I have been living esports for the last 7 years.
Yep.
I started League of Legends in New Zealand, right? I'm not the first person that held the first tournament. That was Theo and Barcraft people. But I was the one that pioneered it and took it to the next level. You know, I had the first televised. I was on the first televised show for League of Legends in New Zealand. I was the guy.
Was that Digital Nations? Was that?
Yep, that was Digital Nations.
That was fun.
No, that wasn't Digital Nations. That wasn't televised. So that was the New Zealand Gaming Championships. That was televised.
Okay.
But I was on the first staged event. That was Digital Nations, right? You were there as well. You were helping me admin. Yeah. Digital Nations. You know, I had the first prize League of Legends tournaments that had like big prizes going on. I had the first big amateur tournaments in ANZ. You know, I have some of the best players like in New Zealand playing for me in the New Zealand the New Zealand Champions thing, which is, you know, like poof, gone, right? I've been in League of Legends for the longest time. My community was at 11,900, like 700 members 3 years ago, right? And it's still there because like I haven't run it for like 5 years. Like I haven't run it for like 5-6 years. It's still at 11,000 members when I left it completely.
Yep.
Right. It's the biggest. It is still the biggest group, and it has the biggest, like, strongest community for League of Legends. Maybe some of the societies probably better than us now.
Yeah.
Some of the societies far more active and actually have admins that still run it, right? Our admins just delete stuff, which is fine. But the point being is that I've been in esports for such a long time. I've been an esports pro league caster for ESL, either in Southeast Asia or here in ANZ for Rainbow Six. I've been doing community events. I've been doing my own personal streams. I've held lots of things for esports. I breathed it. I have been referred to as the godfather of League of Legends. I have been referred to as literally the best in the country for esports when it comes to almost anything. And I will tell you now, one, PLAYTECH will advocate that. They will actually tell you that themselves. Secondly, because I breathe this so much, yes, that is why I'm passionate. It's exactly that. This is something so close to home for me that when I see these problems, I see people on cancel culture like denying these people information or not willing to take their time to educate them and help them actually learn or whatever. That like they're like, oh, it's not our responsibility to educate. Yes, it's fucking our responsibility to educate these people.
Who else is going to do it?
Yeah, it is exactly ours. So who else is like we are in this culture? Like Aiden is not in esports. Aiden is in gaming, right? You play games. You've been part of esports stuff. But, you know...
I don't consider myself in any way, shape, or form good enough to be an esporter.
Yeah. Or, you know, like, he doesn't watch esports either. He's not part of that.
I've seen the league champions.
But not regularly?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So I still keep up with the, you know, like, the local Rainbow Six scene. You know, something like that. Like, but...
I mean, it would be nice to be that good. I'm just not.
Yeah, but
Much like how
the
Joe
whole
was talking
esports
about.
thing is, like... the whole esports thing and the gaming thing, it's all interlaced.
Yep.
You know, esports is a facet of gaming.
It's affecting how games are developed these days.
Exactly. But
like, look at that new one that came out. The one where you can jump up into like a cityscape.
Hyperscape.
Hyperscape.
Yeah.
That looks like it's designed to be an esport.
It is designed to be an esport. It is designed to have Twitch interactions and everything. Yeah. Right? Where the audience gets to literally choose what happens in the game. Like whether you're going to get double damage, double jump, whatever. Right? All these things matter. But you know, because it's so interlaced and everything's all in one community, right? And like, it's always going to be addressed as the same thing. And the whole scene, the entire gaming industry is going to have staggered improvement. It's going to have improvement regardless what happens. It could get there in 5 years, or it could get there in 30 years. You know, like, where do you want gaming to be? Have a think about it. That's what I think here at Shadowchat. Thank you to Aiden. Thank you to Johannes for being here with us. Oh God. Sorry.
It's alright, he's crying.
Woosah. Wu-Tang! Okay, so seriously. So that was us here at Shadowchat. Thank you everybody who joining us here at the podcast live. And if not, thank you for watching the VOD as well. If you made it all the way here, you are one of the playthroughs that we do have. Thank you for those who are turning up. Thank you especially to PLAYTECH for providing the studio for us to use this amazing technology, all this amazing gear.
Letting us sit here and talk crap. It's great stuff.
Thank you for and also obviously helping us get our name out there and obviously giving us a platform to create our own podcast. Yep. If you guys want to create your own podcast as well, do it here at PLAYTECH. Call them up, send them a message on Facebook, and find out how you can create your own content here live in the studio for us up in Albany. Along with us up in Albany.
It's going to say for us.
Yeah, Viva the Dirt League do their stuff here. Why not?
They do.
Yeah. Having said that, thank you also to MSI, our favorite dragons over in Australia, over in Sydney, Australia, for supporting us.
Yep.
And sponsoring us and enabling us to do what we do already. Empowering us to be the organization that we are and allowing us to pick up rosters like Dota and Valorant and providing us laptops that are better than my rig. I mean, the laptop I've got at home is got like 300 hertz monitor, dude. Like,
what? 300?
300 hertz monitor. Do you want to borrow it and just use it for your...
Like what? No. Like what?
Play Destiny on it. Just try that out. We'll see how it goes. MSI laptops, the perfect laptops for you to create your own content, your own movies, your own 3D renders, your own art. And also, of course, thank you to Quantum Energy, our new energy drink sponsors.
I gotta give that a go.
Well, we're actually gonna get a tub. Ooh. We're gonna get a tub here. Green apple.
Zesty.
Yes, sour green apple. Real sour apparently. I like it. We're gonna give it a try when it comes. And you can use the code SHADOWNET for 10% off your total purchase in the store. So go get a hoodie, go get a shaker, go get a tub of Quantum with no sugar and no crash. So, and if not, then you use one of our streamer or affiliate links like Dell or Seraph.
Has it got caffeine and stuff? Like you use it as actual pre-workout for like gym stuff?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use it as a pre-workout. We're gonna go lift some weights.
Yeah.
Yep. Jay doesn't take any supplements.
Oh, just meals.
I do actually.
Oh,
yeah.
That's new.
Are you doing fat burners or something?
Nah, creating and caffeine and now quantum energy.
Oh, there we go. There we go. And you know what? That's a WBFF supermodel saying that. So, hey, we are going to see Johannes take some of that. We're going to just snort that up in the gym and we are going to just lay down some weights.
That's the one.
All right. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. We are going to see you guys next week, same time, same place, same channel, facebook.gg/ShadowNet. Actually, no, it's facebook.com/ShadowNetGG/live. Follow us on Facebook, social media, Twitter, Instagram.
All the
I'm
things.
done.
We're out of here.
I'm really tired. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys there. Shout out to our sponsors. Love you. Bye-bye.